Hello everybody and welcome to the Across the Stages podcast, brought to you by Absolute Motorsport Radio and also available on Absolute Motorsport TV. I'm James Casey, and joining me today will be Joshua Suttill. We're going to be previewing the WRC's first ever Rally Chile. For the very first time in the history of the World Rally Championship, the circus is heading to Chile for the inaugural Rally Chile, round 6 of the season. And at the moment it is Thierry Neuville that leads the Drivers' Championship, but we're going into the complete unknown. And so far, from what we've seen of Chile, it looks like quite an interesting event, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The drivers and teams at the moment looking really, really impressed with it. A few drivers comparing it to Rally GP, which is certainly, I think, a good thing. Definitely, if it's anything like that, then we should be in for a treat. And as you said, plenty of unpredictability, a really close championship already. So yeah, it's got all the hallmarks of a really good event.
And as well as Wales, Rally GB, a lot of characteristics I'd say that it's got in common with that. There's parts of stages that look quite reminiscent of kind of Australia, and I think some people have chucked up Finland. I heard Timo Sunnen say it looked a bit like Poland, so plenty of variety, which is nice to see throughout the stages. It's going to be quite different as the rally goes on. 16 stages in total, starting tomorrow. And yeah, it's all to play for in the championship as well. So no time for people to take it steady. I think people are still going to be pushing very, very hard. As I said, Thierry Neuville currently leading the championship by 10 points. And he's going to have a tricky job again opening the road, but he proved in Argentina, albeit helped by the conditions, that he can still put in a good result. At the moment, he's definitely the form man.
Yeah, definitely. And Hyundai, after having a difficult start to the season with pace, actually showed up, pretty well in Argentina, didn't they? With a 1-2 for the team. So they're the sort of the team to beat at the moment. Tanak's had a few problems. I think he's the driver probably out of the sort of three protagonists that maybe has, the most to sort of gain. He's the furthest back in the championship. And also, I think we know he has that sort of really good raw pace. He's third on the road. Maybe put some James as possibly the favourite for this event if that Yaris can get to the end.
Yeah, and that is a big, big question, isn't it? Whether the Yaris can get through a rally without problems, and especially a new one as well. I don't know whether that'll change things. I'm trying to think off my top of my head who it could benefit a completely new rally. And to me, I'm thinking it's going to be more your people like Sunnen, possibly, but also those guys with experience. You'd imagine Ogier would go pretty well the first time at a new event.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's going to know what to do, definitely. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to be so open, isn't it? We're really not sure what to expect from this one. But yeah, I mean, with Ogier, at least, you can usually expect a really solid performance from him. He'll definitely be pushing that Sutton team along. And, they haven't shown great pace really in recent rounds. I mean, I think he was pretty lucky, really, to get a podium in Argentina. He, of course, won the power stage and showed good pace then. But, he just has a knack, doesn't he, really, of getting those results.
Yeah, certainly. A surprise, really, you'd say, given his last 2 rounds that he's managed to pick up decent points compared to what Tanak definitely has done a good job. But obviously Neuville's couple of wins has been the only stumbling block in terms of Ogier, despite his poor performance. Let's look through a few of the other people. Obviously Mikkelsen, big performance in Argentina. And he's going to be joined this time by Sebastian Loeb, who's been very quiet so far this season. And we were surprised that he was selected to do this event as well. So out of those guys, do you reckon they're going to put in another strong performance for Hyundai as a team?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, with Loeb, we were really wanting a sort of a better result, really, weren't we? We were expecting, I think, a lot more from him so far, only because his previous work has just been so impressive that we have these such high expectations. He hasn't got a podium yet this season, and to be honest, I'm not really sure it's going to come here in Chile. It just doesn't look like an event that's really going to sort of play to his strengths. I mean, to be fair, because it's a new event, his experience will definitely help. He's tackled plenty of new events over his time in the WRC, so he'll definitely be a big help to the team. But in terms of individually, I'm not too sure if he'll be able to get on the podium. Mikkelsen, on the other hand, showed really well in Argentina. Conditions probably aren't too different from there. So it would be really nice to see if Mickelson can maintain that momentum and make it 2 podiums in a row. Maybe Mickelson, the more likely of the two to get that podium. Having said that, Loeb does have a really good road position, and of course, it's Sebastian Loeb. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, you cannot write him off, and I think those events so far have been disappointing, but they haven't been catastrophic. And at any moment, I think he could pounce and make a move, and we just never know when. But I do agree with you. I can't see it happening this weekend, but let's not write him off because he'll probably go and win it if you do that. Other drivers, obviously Toyota, we kind of said, worries about reliability, but Chris Meeker's been going solidly so far this season, finished in the top 10 every single round. And obviously Jari-Matti Latvala as well, struggling. But I think Meek, we're still waiting, and every event we seem to be saying, this is surely going to be the one, this is surely going to be the one. He does seem to be getting closer. Mexico and Argentina, he was definitely in with a shout of a very good result, but just missed out. Could this finally be the one to break through?
Oh, again, I'm not really sure. I think I've said this is going to be his podium every single time. So I think this time, I think it might not happen. I just feel like events like these maybe don't sort of go the way, for Meek, he's probably going to get another puncture or something like that. I think maybe we're looking more at sort of a bit later on in the season for his real sort of strong result. But I mean, if he just gets to the end on an event like this, I think it could be one of high attrition. So if he can get to the end, he could pick up a podium, and he probably will show really good pace. He probably will do really well on the power stage again. But for whatever reason, I'm just not sure if it's all going to come together. His teammate Jari-Matti Latvala, though, he definitely needs a good event. I mean, he was decent last time out, 5th place. It wasn't too bad, but really he needs to be ahead of Meek on this rally, because at the moment, as we sort of said before, Meek has been, pretty much ahead every step of the way so far. So for Latvala, it's all about getting his footing in before this sort of first half of the season ends and try and get a bit of an advantage on Meek.
I certainly agree with that, and this has got to be the turning point, really. Can't wait any longer, because kind of plans for next year are going to start coming into the thoughts of Tommy Mäkinen pretty soon, you'd imagine. Only 3 more rounds until the break now over the summer. So, yeah, pretty important time now for Latvala, and it's got to start here, I believe.
Yeah, definitely, because we already know he's really good on events like Finland and the sort of experienced ones. He doesn't really need to prove anything on those. He needs to prove himself on sort of events like Chile and Portugal, the ones where he's maybe not quite as fancied, and pick up those strong results.
Yeah, we will see in terms of that. Sorry, and M Sport as well. Really good Corsica, and then it went completely downhill in Argentina. Somewhat of a disaster there. For those, I think, as I kind of said earlier, I think this one could be a really good one for Sunderland. I don't know why, I just got it in my mind. when he first came into WRC, his first 2 drives were really strong when it was kind of just completely new to him. I think a new rally, I think it will suit him. I don't know particularly how high he can get up, but he's so far this season, I think he's shown what he did in 2018, where he's just a little bit off the pace, where he's lacking a bit of experience. Here, that's not a problem. So that's my thoughts there. I don't know whether I'm right, though.
Yeah, I mean, he had a big problem with finishing rallies at the sort of start of the year. Now he's done 2 on a bounce. Maybe he can sort of go back to pushing a bit more. So yeah, that could definitely be a thing. And Elvin Evans was, of course, great on Wales Rally GB. And if this event is anything like that, then he could have two M Sport drivers up there.
That was a good point, actually. I didn't think about that. Wales Rally GB event that suits him brilliantly. So yeah, actually that could be a good little shout there for someone maybe surprising us and fighting right towards the front. Our final WRC car is Lorenzo Bertelli, who's making the trip out. He did Sweden, and now he's tackling this new event as well. As you said about the attrition, it's actually a good chance for him to maybe get some points. We haven't seen him in the top 10 for a while. But again, for him, it's fun, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely, and quite different conditions from Sweden. I always find it kind of funny how he sort of does all these different events. I mean, he's done sort of Mexico and Argentina before, so he'll know this sort of part of the world, decently well. Just good to see him again, and I think his main target is going to be keeping ahead of those WC2 Pro cars and the leading WRC2 cars as well. So if you can keep ahead of them, he'll bag himself a point or a few points, with the attrition.
Yeah. Let's move on to that WRC now. We got 4 WRC2 Pro cars. It's been building up since Mexico 1, 2, 3, 4, and I kind of said about this after Argentina. This is the one where we finally get to see after. Well, we did see it in Sweden, but that was kind of a disappointment because everyone had problems. We finally get to see Citroen with Osberg, M Sport with Greensmith, Skoda with Rovanperä, all against each other, and a farewell in terms of WRC2 Pro for the current Fabia as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting the new car next time in Portugal. Really, really excited about that, and a certain driver that'll be bringing back as well, which is good news. But yeah, I think in terms of the battle for Chile, it's really between Osberg and Rovanperä. I think on pure pace, Greensmith probably managed to get to the end, and if the two have problems, that's his best chance of the win. But on pure pace, it should be a really good matchup between the experience of Osberg and the sort of youthfulness and the hype surrounding Rovanperä. Has not delivered at all so far this season, but no reason why his season really can't start in Chile.
That is a good point. He's not been very good whatsoever this season, so got to be a big performance from him, and he's joined by Marco Bulica as well, who's making his second appearance in a row in the pro team. But again, we're not really expecting him too much. I think he's just entered as a backup in case there's problems, so Skoda get a few points after the event in the pro class.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, I mean, he's 18 as well, isn't he? And from Bolivia, so sort of a nice young talent, and it's maybe strange to see him in a pro car. Really, we're not running his privateer, but it's good to see him get another outing in a pro car.
Yeah. And I don't know what his plans are for the rest of the season, but I suppose it's probably dependent on a pretty good result here. So. Normal WRC2. There's been a bit of news here which I was informed of just before we started. We've got Benito Guerra once again, along with the Hellas, making their appearances as always in these kind of events in this part of the world. Takamoto Katsuta, who's in Argentina, carries on to do another event here. Was fighting for victory before problems in Argentina, and Paulo Nubre as well. But Kaitan Kaitanovic, who did Argentina, was supposed to do this event as well, but has pulled out because of a big problem with the polo suspension in Argentina. He went over a jump, and I think it was the rear right suspension, just completely collapsed. It wasn't a big jump, just completely collapsed, and there's been a few problems with this, and they've kind of withdrawn him for the event because they think it's a serious problem. That's a surprise from a team like VW, who we know make very, very good cars. It's obviously been fast, that polo, but that is a big issue.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, added to that, we saw the big fire for Veby and Korstka as well, and they've actually sort of dropped, quite a lot of points as a result of these mechanical issues. So yeah, like you said, it's pretty strange to see, but good to see they've sort of recalled these cars, and then of course, I guess they'll sort of release them again once they fix these issues. But yeah, not great to see, but at least they've withdrawn, so we don't see another big accident again.
Yeah, that would have been a big problem if cars going around that can't go over jumps without beating themselves up, basically. But yeah, basically that's a shame for Kaitan Kaitanovic because he looked really good in Argentina, obviously costing that result there, and we're kind of left between the kind of drivers that we usually see, but also tons and tons of Chilean drivers. There are 18 WRC2 entries, so how many did I read out there? 5. And then there's 13 others who are kind of local drivers, and I think 12 of them are Chilean drivers. So they're really getting behind this inaugural event.
Yeah, definitely. It's what we want to see because, sometimes we see on these sort of South American events or sort of the Australia round, we get pretty much no entries. But it's really good to see that not only have we got local drivers, but they're actually in R5 cars, which are, pretty decent machines. We've seen them sort of in the third tier before, but it's good to see them in, second tier cars, and we'll see how they compare. I mean, I'm sure at least, a couple of them, maybe very experienced on these roads, can spring a bit of surprise. We'll have to see. And of course, they've got the Heller brothers as sort of the good markers, Pedro, of course, has success already this year, and one last time out, and his brother as well hasn't been doing too bad as well. So yeah, it should be pretty good. It'd be sort of the Chilean drivers versus the rest.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't recognise any of the Chilean drivers' names, so these really are kind of people that are able to show themselves on the world stage for the first time. And we haven't got just the Heller brothers. There's three here. There's Benjamin Israel, Vincent Israel, and Samuel Israel all competing. So I don't know. Obviously, they're family, you would imagine. So putting the Heller brothers up to a bit of family competition there, which is nice to see as well. But yeah, I think that's cracking, and we will see how they all fare. We could maybe see someone pop out and make a career for themselves.
Exactly. This is why it's good to see such a big entry list, and we'll see if Benito Guerra can extend his championship lead, or will someone else take it. I mean, he's got a pretty healthy lead at the moment. I think from Alberto Heller is fourth, so he's the next guy that's competing in this event. So yeah, we'll see what Guerra can do if he can sort of put another hand on that trophy.
Yeah. At the moment, it is dependent on just being consistent, and yeah, this is a good opportunity for him. Anyway, that is that from all of the classes. No junior here, obviously, with it being an event off in the Americas. But we'll be back after the event, talking through everything, and we will then be able to say all about how good this new event is. Hopefully, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good one. So let's keep the fingers crossed for a nice competitive event, and speak to you after. Thank you very much for listening today. And goodbye.